My name is Emily, I'm 43 years old and run an aesthetic salon. I divorced my husband, Sam, 5 years ago. The reason for our divorce was his affair. At that time, Sam won over our then 13-year-old daughter, Kelly, completely siding with him. He asked me for a divorce, saying he wanted to marry his mistress, Barbara. Having been troubled by Sam's infidelity for so long, I was ready to agree as long as I could keep custody of Kelly. However, my world shattered with Kelly's words. "I want to live with Dad and my new mom. Get out." Sam followed, demanding, "Just sign the divorce papers already." Cornered and meticulously outmaneuvered, I had no choice but to sign. 5 years later, Kelly suddenly visited my salon. It had been 5 years since I last saw her, and she greeted me with a smile, saying, "Mom." She was now 18. Shocked, I blurted out, "Who are you?" "What?" Kelly looked confused too. Seeing her drastically changed appearance made me wonder what had happened over these 5 years. Why did she choose to go with Sam and not me? I learned for the first time that Sam had lured her with promises of clothes and makeup, saying things like, "I won't nag you about studying like your mom does." Realizing how distant our current situation was from the past, I started plotting my revenge. Kelly, now 18, had gained a lot of weight and lost her sense of style, becoming a rather unappealing young woman. Despite her age, she seemed unconcerned about how others saw her. Just 5 years ago, she was a charming, sparkling 13-year-old, already showing great potential. She had even aspired to be a model. With the right height of 5 feet 5 inches, long limbs, and a slender figure. She was close to landing modeling gigs in magazines. And used to share makeup and fashion tips with me. Kelly had an aura about her, but now it was gone. What could have led to such a drastic change? What could have possibly happened for Kelly to end up so drastically changed? As I pieced together the puzzle, it became clear that Barbara, Sam's new wife, played a significant role. Initially, Barbara treated Kelly kindly. Likely because Sam needed custody of Kelly to divorce me and marry Barbara. Barbara had to befriend Kelly to marry Sam. Honestly, I think marrying someone with a teenager is quite a burden. But her desire to take Sam away from me was stronger. That's why she buttered up Kelly, winning her over to the side. Kelly was so close to me, but it was Kelly's femininity that captivated her. Kelly was aspiring to be a model, diligently working on it. She collected affordable cosmetics, studied makeup techniques, and posted on TikTok. Being in middle school, she couldn't afford expensive cosmetics or clothes. That's where Sam and Barbara stepped in, whispering sweet nothings to Kelly. For a girl her age, it was tempting bait. To Kelly, Barbara must have seemed like a kind older sister. At 27, Barbara was too young to be a mother figure. But Kelly thought they could be like friends. I supported her interest in fashion and self-improvement. However, I was strict about her studies. Kelly argued that models don't need education, but I still wanted her to go to college. She disagreed with me on that. Which probably led her to choose Sam and me. I thought so. I thought Dad and Barbara were kind at first. They bought me clothes and expensive cosmetics, and didn't nag me about studying. But within a year, things changed. Dad seemed to have run out of money, and Barbara's attitude changed completely. If that was the case, you should have come back to me. I was waiting for you. After saying such awful things and driving me away, how could I? Besides, Dad said you didn't want me back. That's not true. I didn't want to let go during the divorce. But I had no choice, Kelly chose Dad over me. I felt my own powerlessness anew, realizing the pain I had caused Kelly. Kelly, too, probably didn't want a divorce in the first place. It must have been tough for her, especially at such a sensitive age, to see her parents split and her father remarry a younger woman. What exactly changed? Kelly then started to reveal bit by bit. The turning point in Barbara's behavior was when Kelly was scouted by talent agents while out with Barbara. And not just once or twice, but quite frequently. Barbara, who used to be scouted herself, felt jealous. She took away all of Kelly's cosmetics, destroying them with water. You seriously think you can be a model? You're not exceptionally beautiful or unique, just average. It's not a world where effort alone can get you there. So it turned out that her cosmetics were really taken away. Barbara didn't stop there. She started making high-calorie dishes. Mostly carb-heavy meals. Since Barbara wasn't a great cook, she mostly bought ready-made meals. By then, Sam was losing interest in Barbara and would come home late. Family dinners became rare. Kelly, in her growing years, had always restrained her diet to maintain her figure. But suddenly, her appetite took over. Perhaps due to emotional stress. Barbara kept pushing Kelly down. "You know, Kelly, you're not a great figure. You might think you're cute, but you're just another face in the crowd." Kelly's self-confidence eroded, resorting to eating for comfort and then regretting it. A negative cycle that eventually led her to become reclusive. Kelly struggled with her studies. I believe that Barbara's manipulation contributed significantly to Kelly's loss of will. "Why did you ask who I was the moment you saw me?" "I knew it was you, but you were so surrounded by negative vibes, I couldn't find the words." "Have I really changed that much?" Kelly wondered if she had really changed that much. "Remember, you wanted to be a model until 5 years ago?" "I did, but Barbara said it was impossible, and eating became my only joy." Barbara's intentions were too obvious. Still wanting to be the star of her own story. Barbara, once the top dancer in a nightclub, had Sam frequently visit her. Despite the age gap of 16 years and the challenges of being a stepfamily, Sam and Barbara married. I learned from the staff at Sam's salon that Barbara had multiple cosmetic surgeries and breast augmentations. Even though we were married, Sam was always out with Barbara. During the divorce discussions, Sam deliberately brought Barbara along. Well, if we were to divorce, I would have to leave the house, and in a way, it seemed like a natural right for Barbara. I can't forget her triumphant face at that time. "Are you upset? Sam likes beautiful things, doesn't he? As an aesthetic salon owner, you might be young and beautiful compared to others your age. But, of course, he chose me for my youth, the title of being number one, and beauty, right? Do you understand Sam's infidelity? You'll be cheated on soon. Sam always wants youth. Once you're over 30, he'll lose interest. If you're prepared for that, go ahead. You're just making excuses for losing. It's quite unbecoming, you know. Just so you know, Sam hits on every woman who walks into the salon. You'll be the one cleaning up his messes. Are you okay with that?" Sam's fondness for women was well known, especially how he'd hit on new female staff at his beauty salon. This led to many new hires quitting early, burdened by their troubles and hurt feelings. I often ended up being their outlet for complaints. When they couldn't bear Sam's behavior anymore, they'd come to me, unable to confront him directly. I became a sort of buffer for them. Some even talked about suing, so I tried to settle things amicably with money. Sam was much tougher on male staff, which led to them quitting quickly too. His salon was a parade of power and sexual harassment, and it was a wonder it hadn't shut down yet. Eventually, it was just Sam and one long-term male employee running the place. Even then, the salon wasn't exactly booming. Barbara is indeed beautiful, but it's all artificial, right? Lips, eyes, nose, bone structure, teeth, breasts, all cosmetic surgery, right? It must be tough maintaining all that, I said, accepting or rather coming to terms with Sam and Barbara's marriage. 5 years on, Barbara seemed to be in trouble. To keep the fickle and capricious Sam, she was getting more and more surgeries. Even to the untrained eye, her face looked unnatural. It was obvious she'd had work done. Her face seemed stretched, and she had trouble moving her mouth. Almost like a cyborg, I heard. Barbara was always afraid of being abandoned by Sam. Thankfully, Kelly hadn't been influenced by Barbara and stayed away from plastic surgery. But from what Kelly told me, Barbara was having money troubles. Saving money takes time, but spending it happens in a flash. Barbara had spent so much on luxury brands and surgeries that she was nearly broke. Of course, she relied on Sam's money. She didn't really know how much he earned. Just assumed he was rich because he spent a lot at the nightclub. Kelly shared her views on their financial habits. "I think Dad and Barbara were both big spenders. Dad loved cars, and Barbara always took taxis, even for short distances. Sometimes the drivers would even complain. They'd buy clothes without looking at the price tags, many of which were never worn. At first, they bought things for me too, but it soon became clear they thought it was a waste to spend on me. Actually, I think Dad's almost broke," I revealed. Kelly looked surprised. His salon hardly gets any customers now. He can't even pay the remaining staff, and now he's buried in debt. The bank won't lend him money anymore. So, I bought his salon. Then Sam and Barbara burst in. I knew it, Kelly, I told you not to come here. Emily, did you fill her head with something? I was just telling her about buying your salon. You're broke, so how can you support Kelly? Nice going, buying your ex-husband's salon for such a low price. Your salon was barely functioning. You're reaping what you sowed. You never valued your employees, and now nobody values you. Do you have any idea how much I've had to cover for you behind the scenes? You were supposed to do that, right? I mean, you could open your salon only because I had mine, right? You forgot to be grateful for that and just go ahead and buy it, huh? I used to work at Sam's salon, too. Yes, I ended up boldly taking the position of wife after Sam made advances towards me. I took care of shaving or extensions, not cutting hair. I performed these services on regular salon chairs, not beds. This got popular, and I went on to study aesthetics seriously, eventually opening my own salon. Sure, Sam helped, but I worked hard in the competitive world of aesthetics. If you want your own place, why not open a nightclub? That way, you can work surrounded by beautiful women. Only if you have the money. No big deal, Barbara can just go back to work. What? I didn't hear about this. And don't rely on me when you hardly come home. You came to me crying for money for your surgeries. I told you to keep it moderate, but you're addicted. Honestly, you're not beautiful anymore. As I heard, Sam and Barbara's relationship had already turned cold. Sam probably planned to leave her. But with his income gone, he had to turn to Barbara in panic. It's no surprise Barbara was angry. Even though Sam used to be a ladies' man, he's now 45 and past his prime. The only way for an aging man to stay attractive is to be wealthy. Sam, having lost both youth and wealth, wouldn't be of interest to anyone. Barbara must have run out of patience with him. Oh, I see. So you were dumped by that 20-something girl from the nightclub you've been all over recently, huh? What are you talking about? You've been cheating, haven't you? And it's been so obvious. That girl, she's been saying how useless you are behind your back. You don't spend much money, and your gifts are cheap. It's pathetic to see a broke man trying to play around. Sam's face turned beet red. Clearly wounded in his pride. Have you looked in the mirror? Your face is monstrous. Barbara's face might indeed be unnatural and overdone, but it was all for keeping Sam's love. She took him from me, but now as his new wife, she feared being taken from as well. It seemed like karma to me. How much did you spend at that nightclub? The interest alone is like $6,000, right? Using up your credit card's limit. Are you insane? You've used up all your cards, right? How do you plan to live now? Don't count on me. It's my money, I can do what I want. What about you? You're $100,000 in debt. You spent all your earnings from the nightclub on surgeries, then turned to loans when you ran out. You're not planning on making me deal with that, are you? Sam and Barbara's argument escalated. Both fixated on money issues. No matter how much money you make, it's all gone on surgeries. What's the fun in wasting money on such trivial things? Trivial? That's rich coming from you. You go to nightclubs to get fawned over because nobody does that in your daily life. You spend big money just to be flattered, but that's their job. They're just working for you. And me, I'm just trying to stay beautiful. It's like shopping. Why is it wrong to want to look good? All men love beauty. The moment they meet you, they judge you by your looks. They say there's a $2 million lifetime difference in earnings between a beauty and an average person. Their hatred for each other was astounding, considering they once loved each other enough to marry. Your beauty theory is nonsense. You're $100,000 in debt. Deal with it yourself. The collection calls and notices are non-stop. What will you do now, former #1 dancer? Maybe work in a nightclub again? You're good at luring men, after all. It was hard to listen to their exchange, especially with 18-year-old Kelly present. Enough already. Take your financial issues with Sam and Barbara elsewhere. From what I've heard, isn't this all self-inflicted? If you don't spend within your means, isn't it obvious that this is how things end up? You have no right to talk. You took my business and now tell me to fend for myself. What, you expect me to start over as an apprentice? If you're desperate enough, you can do anything. Just don't run away by declaring bankruptcy. I had something clear to say. Barbara, anything you want to say to me? You want an apology now? Ever since I was married to Sam, you've been bad-mouthing my salon on social media. Even after you married him, it got worse. I don't care if it's jealousy or what, but enough is enough. You posted fake reviews and complaints, saying my treatments ruined your skin or made you gain weight. When will you be satisfied? Do you have proof I wrote those? Barbara was defiant. Do you think there's no evidence? I've asked a lawyer to request disclosure. It's definitely you. I'll sue you for defamation. Sue me? Ridiculous, making a fuss over a few posts. If you're confident in your skills, stand tall. Maybe those bad reviews are genuine feedback. No matter what you say, I'll sue for defamation and demand a proper apology. Didn't you hear our conversation? I have no money. Your words made me realize I should declare bankruptcy. Then I won't have to pay, right? Can you stop being so defiant? It seems like you don't know how hard it is to declare bankruptcy. All your assets will be examined, you know? It took the initial cost, and you need to come up with the money even though you don't have it. That means you'll have to rely on your family, right? You were cut off from them, weren't you? After you dropped out of college to work at the nightclub without telling them. I'm planning to get $20,000 in damages from your parents through my lawyer. Wait, my parents have nothing to do with this. Please don't involve them. Things were just starting to get better between us after my marriage to Sam. I don't want to trouble them with things like defamation or debts. Barbara's sudden shift to a meek attitude, trying to garner sympathy, seemed manipulative. People like her find it hardest when their parents are brought into the matter. No, that excuse won't work. Stop running away. You need to take responsibility for the seeds you've sown. You should firsthand learn the consequences of slandering someone's company. You're only trying to beautify your exterior, but shouldn't you be polishing your inner self? It's true what they say, character is reflected in one's face. Whatever a 40-something woman says doesn't affect me. For men, a beautiful heart comes later. The face is what's most important. First impressions are everything. Women are all about looks. But that's not sustainable, is it? That's why Sam is already tired of you and ready to leave you, right? And I won't forgive you for the abuse you inflicted on Kelly. I'm not to blame, am I? Sam is her father. I did what I could as a stepmother. You brainwashed Kelly with all those negative things, driving her to become a recluse, didn't you? At this point, Sam's actions don't matter to me. What's important is holding Barbara accountable for the mental damage she caused Kelly during her crucial developmental years. But... Barbara stuttered, hesitating as if she wanted to say something but couldn't. I wonder what she's hesitating about. Because Kelly was so cute. Kelly was too cute, so you made her look worse to keep her out of sight? That's just your selfish jealousy. You lack confidence in yourself, so you keep undergoing surgeries. But there's no end to that. You stifled Kelly's natural confidence and vitality with such a petty reason. No, it's because she started to look too much like Emily. That's why I couldn't stand it. Everyone was stunned by her unexpected admission. Sam, who was also responsible, had been silently watching but now interjected. It's natural for Kelly to resemble Emily, their mother and daughter. I've always hated Emily. Sam, being such a player, stayed with Emily for 15 years without breaking up. It made her seem special, different from other women. So when Sam divorced Emily and remarried me, I felt like I was on top of the world. I refused to hand over Kelly because I thought it would hurt Emily the most. Kelly was radiant, charming, and full of potential. I was jealous of her just for that, but as she grew, she started to resemble Emily more and more, so. I was disgusted by her melodramatic act. This was irrelevant to Kelly, who was unfairly dragged into their ridiculous vendetta. It's a real nuisance for a child to be caught up in such petty matters. But the biggest scumbag here was Sam. He was silently observing, probably thinking his philandering was some sort of badge of honor. He probably thinks, I'm so popular, it's a problem, or stop fighting over me. He sees it as a badge of honor, which is what makes it so bad. Anyway, both of you, stay out of my and Kelly's lives. Barbara, you'll be hearing from my lawyer. Sam, you better find a new job quickly. I'm going to make up for the lost 5 years with Kelly. After everything, Sam and Barbara ended up divorcing, having no reason or meaning to stay together. Sam was saddled with the $100,000 debt Barbara had accumulated for cosmetic surgeries during their marriage. He had to start over, finding a job from scratch. Though he had experience as a hairstylist, it was only viable in his own salon. Now, he works as a low-level hairstylist by day and a security guard at night. After spending all day standing as a hairstylist, he stands yet again at night, working as a security guard. A tough schedule for someone who always bragged about his youth. The debt won't wait. And he chose this path by marrying Barbara. Meanwhile, Barbara, with her funds depleted, couldn't maintain her cosmetic surgeries. Her face deteriorated, and she became unrecognizable, a far cry from her former self. During the day, Barbara avoids public attention by wearing sunglasses and a mask, and at night, she works at a bar to make ends meet. This information came from a former informant at the beauty salon. This skillful informant has now opened his own salon. Through my lawyer, I demanded $20,000 in damages from Barbara for defamation. Of course, Barbara couldn't pay, so I approached her parents in the countryside. Despite speaking ill of Barbara's reckless lifestyle in the city, they apologized and paid the $20,000. Her parents seemed troubled by their daughter's actions in the city, involving hostess clubs and defamation. I wonder what they would think if they saw Barbara now. As of now, Barbara hasn't declared bankruptcy. I decided to let the matter rest with the $20,000 and want to cut ties with both Barbara and Sam completely. However, since Sam is Kelly's father, I'll allow him to visit her. And now, Kelly has officially returned to me. If she hadn't had the courage to come to my shop back then, things could have been much worse. I've started a diet plan for Kelly, not too late. We're counting calories and going to the gym. I'm also thoroughly teaching her about makeup, nails, and hairstyles to enhance her femininity. With her natural potential, Kelly transformed astonishingly quickly. It seemed she was regaining her original spirit. And then, she entered a before and after beauty contest I recommended, winning the grand prize.